I was informed that it'll still be in effect for next 3 to 5 days. So I have a lot to share. It's way too much to sit here and tell you everything that happened last night. But I can tell you it was pretty darn profound. It's hard to put into words. I was informed that it'll still be in effect for next 3 to 5 days. We started out with eye drops called Sananga, and then an inhalation. Well, it wasn't that you inhale it, it's blown into your nose. It's called Rapé. And then we had the ayahuasca, which all of it was pleasant tasting in my opinion. The ayahuasca had a flavor to me that reminded me of molasses. I didn't get sick on the first try. And so, we all sat around wondering and just closed eyes, meditating, and music was played. It's absolutely a beautiful setting. We were 4 people in total. 2 men, 2 women, balancing it out. Beautiful. And yeah, I'll fill you in a little bit more later. More reflection time. So I'm fortunate to have some quiet time for the moment, and I thought I would share more detail of my experience. I had intended on documenting my experience, but with further consultation and asking for permission, I was advised it wasn't such a good idea, and that it would be best to keep the electronic devices turned off. So all of us had our phones turned off, placed in the other room, so there would not be any distractions or, let's say, alarms or rings or anything going off. We were 4 people, 2 men, 2 women in total, and that included the shamans themselves. And it wasn't at all what I expected. I can tell you that from the start. I had no idea, although I've done a lot of research, I didn't know what my experience would be. And you can listen to all the other people out there and what their experiences are, but yours will never match. You may have similar experience parts or something, but no, mine was rather unexpected. I expected something else, I can tell you that right now. I will go into that. But it was not at all what I was anticipating, or maybe I had my mind a little bit set on. So as I was explaining earlier, I came in, we all were set up, we made sure we had mats and everything on the ground. We also had these couches to sit on, so we had the ability to be a little bit more flexible, how we felt comfortable, if we needed to lay down. It was recommended to sit up as much as possible to get the full experience. We were first brought into the circle with our heads laying down in the middle. We had drops put in our eyes. With our eyes closed, they just put them in the very corners. And this was called the Sananga or the Sananga. Every definition, pronunciation different there. And when they told us to, we opened our eyes and fluttered them so that it would enter into the eyes. And it stung she said it would sting for about 30 seconds or so. And then we laid there for about 10, 15 minutes. And when we felt ready, we sat up and we heard the music being played by our shaman, beautiful music. And we also learned a beautiful chara, which is like the deepest form of gratitude. It's the translation from the tribe. It's chara. And when you're in such gratitude, such deep, heartfelt, like thank you, you can't even express it with the words thank you. this was going deep down into the core of like serious gratitude and appreciation for this experience. And so the next process was the Rapé. We were told to breathe in deeply and hold it. And they had this double-sided straw, this made of bones, and a very ceremonial piece. And on the one end, they packed in the Rapé. On the other end, they put the Rapé end on your nose, under, like right up in your nostrils, and while you're holding your breath, blew it in, and then you breathed out of your mouth, because what was explained was you don't want it to go down into your lungs and in your belly, because that's a whole different type of purging and cleansing and experience in itself. So the whole purpose was to open up the third eye, to bring us up and ground us down. And it was more like, she explained it, that like a father, whereas Mother Ayahuasca is more like the grandmother or the mother, I've heard it called. So when I had that done, and the way she explained it was very similar to how I experienced it, but I can tell you, it was like, it's like you just gotta, your head, you just felt this opening, expansion, and awareness and sensation, third eye, huge, like throbbing and sensations. And at the same time, after the effect of that, and it took a little bit of time, because I would feel my body just integrating the energies, just feeling it. And then it was like, whew, it came back down and brought me into a more grounded place in my physical body. And then from there, more music was played, and we meditated on it, and we allowed it to integrate. And then we had these little cups of the ayahuasca ceremonial brew, and it was very flavorful. I really loved the taste of it. I loved the smell and the taste that I was feeling from the Rapé. You weren't, if anything, you were meant to breathe out, in and out of your mouth during the Rapé. And also, we blew our nose when we felt we needed to blow our nose, and that was when we were able to breathe again, once you blew your nose. You didn't breathe in and out of the nose until you had blown your nose to get all of that out. And anything that came dripping down the back of the throat was meant to be spit out. So we all had buckets. That was the key. And then the ayahuasca in itself, with this flavor, it was very pleasant. And I didn't feel it the first drink. And so I had a second drink. But we waited about 15 minutes or so, and I wasn't the only one. And the irony is that it was recommended, well, maybe you should have some more Rapé, because they help each other. They work together. These plant medicines are meant to work together. And I guess there's other ways that Rapé is administered. Some Rapé is blown in from a smoke that's burning. This was actually the powdered form of the herb. And so we did, I had some more Rapé right after drinking. That's when stuff started coming up. That's when stuff was purging. Because it's a powerful mix, but it wasn't an unpleasant one. And normally when you vomit, because I cleanse, I didn't do anything but watermelon earlier in the day, just water and coconut water. Typically, you know that the smell of vomit is disgusting. You just can't stomach it. This wasn't bad at all. It just was the smell and all of the ayahuasca. There was no nasty taste in anything that came up. I didn't have that leftover bile feeling in my throat at all during this entire ceremony. And I did vomit more than once. That wasn't my first time. And I'd say that I definitely had, because I think I lost count, at least 3 rounds of Rapé, and I swore it was 4 rounds of ayahuasca. And the last one, the man that also came to attend, he was having a serious purge, and there is something to be said about group energy, and I myself felt drawn out. He collapsed to the floor and was profusely in his bucket, and when I did my next round, and it was the Rapé, that I just kept spinning and spinning, and I was breathing into it, just calming myself. And then it was like, boom, it hit me, and I was down on the ground. It drew me. It pulled me to it. There was no denying it. I had to surrender and allow myself to be drawn to it. And it's very true that when you go in group energy, you all have each other's experience. And it was extremely beautiful. It was definitely profound on the deepest level. Stuff I know that over the next 3 to 5 days, as it was explained, the medicine continues to work because this is plant medicine. I will still be experiencing stuff. So, very interesting experience, and to truly go into the depth of everything, you got to have your own. Now, I want to disclaim, this is not a suggestion that you should go and do this without your own research, without your own trust, and please make sure you're with somebody who is familiar with what they're doing, and it isn't just a trend and at somebody's house that, hey, I bought some ayahuasca, you want to try it. Don't do that. Make sure you're with somebody who is familiar with what they're doing, especially if you get someone who's coming from the ancient tribal culture, and that is what they've been doing all their life. This person has been doing it since they were 7 years old from an ancient tribe. He's the head of his tribe. He's a beautiful man, and he wants to heal the world. And I fully support that and honor that. So if you decide to do anything like this, make sure you know your source. Don't go to places that are just doing it because it's the latest trend. It's something to be revered. It's very sacred, right? And it is a sacrifice, because to sacrifice is to make sacred. And so this is an honoring not only of yourself, but of the plant, and to go in with the right intentions. And if you have any hesitation, then maybe you need to step back. I myself have to admit, I was really excited about this. But my anticipation and excitement was this idea that I was going to get all this clarity and all this awareness and direction and profound, wow, my body's all healed and this and that. And it's not like that right now. But I'm not going to say it couldn't happen, because Mother Ayahuasca has a different relationship with each person. And so I know I've heard the stories of people having instantaneous healing. I've heard the stories of people coming back and going, boom, I know exactly what to do, and the clarity. But in my case, one thing I've learned in my life, patience. Patience, young Jedi. Slow down, take it all in, be grateful for it. Chada chada. In all honesty, I know that's been my lesson, that I can't anticipate or speed up what is already there and coming for me. It's already happened. I've already been purging, I've already been dealing with stuff long before I even came to this ceremony. And I can tell you, when you say yes to anything in your life, you say yes to change, you say yes to something new, pay attention from that moment until the time it enters into your life, when it actually happens. Because that is when we've let the energy in. This is the one thing I think people forget to recognize, that their minds create all these stories, and the mind will fight. Will fight to the death because it feels death. It feels death with the unknown because it wants to control and it wants to survive. It is in that mode of always looking to protect you. And sometimes it's not the type of protection you want. You want it to work in your favor. And if you're ending up in like anxiety, freaking out, like I finally recognized that a couple years back when I was going to winter solstice, that okay, change is coming, because I'm actually trying to talk myself out of it. I say yes to it, and all of a sudden I'm excited, and then I'm not so sure I want to go. It's the same thing that was going on with coming here. I was excited the whole time, but I was also watching my mind go into a lot of old beliefs and patterns, and having dreams about things from the past, and bringing up stuff around me that my mind could easily talk me out of. So no matter what you do, be true to you.
I'm nice and cozy back in the love cloud, and I'm going to sleep now. It's been a long, over 24 hours. So there's still more cool stuff to share about my ceremony, but I'll share more tomorrow. I need some rest now. I love you, sweet dreams. Tune in tomorrow for episode 20.